Okay. Hello and happy Thursday to everyone. Let's see if we can get this working quicker than the other ones. Today we are going to interview the amazing Sylvia Becker-Hill. She is a women's empowerment coach. She's done a multitude of things in her lifetime, but she'll be mainly speaking about that in her women's empowerment school at our conference. Just waiting for her to log on. So you should be able to, here we go, add. Funny enough, she's actually to the left of me. So let's see if it's gonna work. I can hear the echo from her phone bouncing off of mine. Okay. It says it's connecting, guys. It goes, there we are. Oh, beautiful. Look at that split screen. Hi, Sylvia.
It works. Amazing. Awesome.
So everyone, this is Sylvia Becker-Hill. She is the founder of the Sylvia Becker-Hill Women's Empowerment School. And because there's a little bit of echo.
Okay, I'm muted my echo here situation, so now it should work. Test.
Perfect. Okay. And she is going to talk to us a little bit about what she does and who she is.
Okay. Well, I'm honored to be here with you. I'm the founder of the Women's Empowerment School, named after my family name Becker-Hill, which is already part of my brand. Oops. Yeah, the construction with you being sitting here beside me is a bit awkward. Because Becker is my German maiden name and Hill is my husband's he's from New Zealand international English name. So that Becker-Hill is already significant because I started as a coach in 1997 in Germany, being one of the very, very, very first coaches in Germany, and have been the first certified coach by the International Coach Federation, the president of the ICF back in Germany, and then 10 years later I moved to Michigan in the United States, being now married with Peter and two boys, reinventing myself and constantly being a coach around the world with clients from different international cultural backgrounds, races, hierarchy levels in corporations. I have this abundance of experience and joyful success stories. I know from the bottom of my heart that coaching is one or maybe the most powerful force for positive change on the planet. Because it goes so deep into humans' brains and their foundation, and it touches from business to spirituality, so many areas in our human life. And I believe it truly supports humanity's evolution. And having you now here in San Diego as a partner for what I believe one of the most paradigm shifting, most powerful coaching conferences is really truly exciting for me. I'm now in the business of coaching for 22 years in multiple leadership positions inside the ICF. I had my own coaching training school back in Michigan for over 7 years. Some of my graduates I'm very proud of from my school got certified by the ICF. One of them is the current ICF president in Germany. One became the first non-American ICF president in Michigan. So I have a huge track record around not only working with my external clients, but really producing coaching leaders around the world who bring the legacy of my coaching school and my passion for this powerful way of transforming people's lives everywhere, wherever they are living in different continents. So I have students on 3 continents right now doing the coaching work, and clients I've worked with on 4 different continents. Yeah, that makes me very proud, and I'm looking forward to bring all this passion and expertise here to your conference.
Awesome. Okay, I just moved because we got feedback that the echo was not good. Are you guys able to hear us now? If so, and if there's no echo, please give us a thumbs up. So, Sylvia, I know you talked about coaching being one of the most transformational works that you can do. What actually took you to coaching? I know I understand a little bit of your why now of changing lives and transforming lives, but what led you to decide you wanted to become a coach?
So twofold answer, one the more biographical, like pain reason and the mission behind it, and then the very practical level, why coaching and not something else. So first of all, I grew up in Germany with parents who were children during the Second World War, who both were very traumatized and suffered their whole life from PTSD, which was never talked about in Germany in that generation, which had a big, big impact on their lack of happiness throughout their life. And it had a big impact, obviously, on me. And growing up with them, seeing them, especially my mother, being always in this subtle kind of pain of believing and feeling they are the victim of everything, of circumstances, other people. One of the biggest sentences of my childhood was, "What will the neighbors think?" So the whole energy of my childhood was this kind of dark cloud of doom, which was wafting around everything, this heavy lid on any kind of creativity and full self-expression. So for me, I was always a rebel against that. I was all into learning, growing, creativity, and this question, I had that, I think consciously, I remember in my early teenage years, what do humans, what do people need in order to be happy, was the first version. And then when I matured and grew up, it was more the question, what do humans truly need in order to change? To overcome whatever their upbringing was, whatever their roots are, whatever is blocking them from being fully expressed in their full potential and in their pursuit of happiness, what do they need to get there? That was my research question. And that research question brought me not only to the passion of 2 university degrees. I spent most of my time, when all my peers were traveling with backpacks through Asia or so, I spent that time like a workshop junkie in self-development workshops and seminars, 1 weekend a month, you could say, since I'm 19 probably. And some of these workshops were delivered by companies from the United States. In Germany, the whole concept or word of coaching was still completely unknown at that time. And one of these companies was Landmark Education, quite well known here in the San Diego area as well. And this is where I heard the word coach for the first time, and where I experienced for the first time my own coaching relationship, having a coach, and the whole archetype that there's a human being, not myself, who holds my vision of who I want to be so big and so passionately in their own attention, and supports me as an accountability partner to truly do whatever it takes to grow into that potential. That blew my mind away. That was so beautiful and touched me in the depths of my soul. And in the same phase of being so touched by that archetype, I had a friend joining me in this landmark courses, and he had a consulting company where he delivered training to corporate leaders. And he projected literally onto me, watching me, how I behaved and who I was and how I showed up in these conferences and trainings. He said, "Sylvia, you are a born coach. This is just perfect for you." And I'm frustrated with my clients and my consulting company. They go through my training, but then they don't implement. I start to hate my own consulting company. And he literally gave me the task, "Sylvia, can you please create a coaching concept for my clients so that they finally start implementing what I'm teaching them?" And this is how I started my business. So it was very tiny niched. His clients were mainly in the architecture, building, engineering field. And I literally created a coaching program of 12 weeks, 30 minutes a week over the phone, addressing really that topic, how to integrate, how to implement what he taught in his trainings, how to integrate that in their everyday life as corporate leaders. And this is also how I got my first clients. He invited me during his trainings for a presentation of 45 minutes, and bam, 50% was my conversion rate right from the get-go of his participants. Started the coaching process with me. They paid upfront 12 weeks, and most of the time they were implementing like crazy after the first month, but we had 8 sessions left. So they started then to come and, without knowing, inspiring me to expand my coaching scope, because they asked me, well, Frau Becker, that was a German, Miss Becker at the time, I was not married yet, can I talk with you also about X? And X could be anything. Like one engineer, I remember, he loved horses and he always dreamed to have his big own farm where he was breeding horses and become a German horse whisperer. And it was just my honor and joy. I helped him to literally fulfill that dream. And he's now famous in Germany, being a horse whisperer. And he's now a coach and trainer and uses horses for transformational processes with his clients. And that whole thing, what I just shared, is now 21 years ago. It was 1998 where I launched this concept successfully. And yeah, and I got an award for it in Germany, a $50,000 award, literally financing my startup for 2 years, because it was so, at that time, a paradigm shift. I mean, nowadays it probably would not be that revolutionary any longer, but at that time it opened up a completely new world. And my business was very easy at the start, because I was a shooting star in a market which was not even there as a market. So very different from now, which brings us back to the necessity of your conference, because the current market situation for coaches is awful and painful compared to when I started 21 years ago.
Well, I want to highlight just a little bit. We have one viewer that identified and said that her childhood was very, very similar, and she's also an architect, so you guys might need to connect offline and offer support. A couple of things that came out and really kind of sparked my curiosity that I wanted to bring back. Vision for you. And so that's really important to clarify that, because a lot of people are coming into the coaching industry thinking that it's something else, right? And having an accountability partner as an entrepreneur and as a human being is essential. So I feel like that's a huge gap that coaches do fill. Oh, here goes.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is, especially here in California, coaching as a word is now so trendy, and a lot of people jump on the wagon. And sorry, somehow we are out of sync. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, there was a lag, but I think it corrected.
Good. So let's create a foundation here about the term what is coaching and what's not coaching, because a lot of people can't distinguish between coaching, training, consulting, mentoring, supervising, therapy, teaching, mothering, preaching,
advising,
speaking. I mean, advising. Yeah. So a lot of people throw this all into a big soup. And we could make a little game out of that, if you don't mind, where people who watch this video can test their own understanding and put in the comment what it is, what we are doing. So I ask you to tell me always the same sentence, and I will answer out of the different roles, and whoever is live or later in the replay, they can guess in the comment section what is it. Do I answer as a coach or teacher or trainer or mentor, advisor, consultant, whatever? So the sentence you tell me, and just, you don't need to role play, you don't need to change, you just say, hi Sylvia, I get bullied on the job. Is that an issue? Everyone understands that sentence? I'm getting bullied on the job? Okay, so you go ahead, tell me.
Hi Sylvia, I get bullied on the job.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, I know what you mean.
So that question, who would say that? So, okay, so what do you think?
I think a coach.
Who would say that?
A coach or a therapist?
Exactly. So it's the tone of voice and asking immediately how it makes you feel as a start. Before a coach goes immediately into how you feel about things, at the start, a coach would always first ask a question regarding your
Oh,
goals
here,
and
hold on.
your agenda, your intention why you hire me. So when you say, Sylvia, I'm getting bullied on the job, I would first ask the question along those lines.
I'm going to have you say that over again because you froze. So I could hear you saying it in your office, but not here.
Okay. So let's you say the sentence again, and then I answer as a coach, as a contrast to the therapist.
Okay, it says right. Okay. Hi, Sylvia. I get bullied at work. At work, I think it was, right?
What is your desire to change regarding that situation? Mm-hmm. Or another way to say it, what would be your preferred situation on the job? Or I could ask, by talking to me as your potential coach, what would be your intention? What is your goal you would like to accomplish? So as a coach, I don't jump immediately into working with you on your emotions or on your paradigms or on your beliefs or whatever it is which is bothering you. I always would first make sure to understand what is it what you want, what is your goal.
I'm moving around to see if it helps the connection.
Yep, I see that. Yeah.
For all of you, this is Sylvia's house.
So say the sentence again.
Hi, Sylvia. I get bullied at work.
Great topic. I have here this wonderful book, just 250 pages, where I have 23 cases of bullied people, and I answer each case with my blueprint of the 12 steps how to react when getting bullied on this $24 on Amazon, yada, yada, yada. Who would say that?
I'd say you're a California coach.
Hopefully no coach would say that.
Oh,
it would be
teacher.
A consultant, an author. Okay. Yeah, someone who is not a coach, but who is an expert in that field.
That makes sense.
And they have their place. Yeah, we need experts. But that is different. To have written a book doesn't make you automatically a good coach. Sorry, coaches. I know a lot of people here, you have to have a book. A book is great for marketing and it helps you to get speaking gigs. But having written a book doesn't mean automatically you are a great coach. You are an expert, and so you had enough content to write a book. But again, being an author or an expert doesn't make you a coach.
Yeah. Okay, so we had teacher on that one. So we were both wrong, Faye. Hi, Sylvia. I get bullied at work.
Who is that guy? Let me punch him in his face.
Mother.
No, the bigger brother. The bigger brother who wants to protect you. Okay, say the sentence again.
Hi, Sylvia. I get bullied at work.
Oh, honey, that is really horrible. How can I help you?
Mom.
Yeah, that's mom. Say it again.
Hey, Sylvia. I get bullied at work.
Wow. Let's go out for a drink and I bring some chocolate.
Girlfriend.
Yes.
Can we go out for a drink now and get some chocolate? I feel like I'm internalizing this.
Okay, say the sentence again.
Hi, Sylvia. I am, Faye said mother. Good job. I get bullied at work.
Let's analyze the situation. Who is involved, who says what and when, and how you could react. Let's design multiple different scenarios, and then we both will work through these different scenarios, and I help you to find the right words, the right body language, how to react in these different scenarios, which are appropriate for your job position.
Okay, I think I know, but I'm going to wait for Faye to answer because I've been jumping to answer because I love games. Because she was answering and there's a little bit of a lag. So what do you think, Faye?
Delay. Yeah.
She had a mother, a friend. She had those right. Let's see if she knows. Oh, I don't know. I know she's still on. Okay. I'm going to say trainer or advisor.
Yeah, it would be a trainer slash it could be a bullying expert who has his own style, developed how to train people to react. So it's a trainer slash expert teacher in that direction. Can you get a sense that all these potential answers are all valuable? They all have their place, from mom and brother and girlfriends, and they are distinctively different.
Yeah.
And that is what, sadly, especially here in California, often is not really tangible. And when people who sell themselves as a coach don't even have that clarity to understand in sales conversations with the clients, to point out what is the difference between an advisor or consultant, teacher, trainer, coach, it's challenging, because it undermines their own confidence, because when you're not clear what you're doing and who you are, you can't be very confident about that. And it's also more challenging in the marketing situation to position yourself with a unique selling proposition, because you are competing with an endlessly bigger market, because you are then suddenly competing with nearly everyone, the trainer, the mentor, the advisor, the trainer, da-di-da-di-da. So it really starts to be a professional coach to understand what is coaching and what is not coaching, and to be able to communicate to others what the essence is. And because I'm trained in the concept and context of the core competencies from the International Coach Federation, I always refer back to those. It's a canon of 11 core competencies, and I'm often shocked or sad that so many coaches don't even know that, because globally that is the standard of definition of what coaching is. Is it the only potential good one? No. I know a ton of great coaching trainers who are not affiliated with the ICF, who have great coaching trainings, and either subconsciously or consciously are very well aligned with those, and maybe have different names. So it's not about the brand of that specific organization. It's just a fact that internationally it's the biggest body of work. And I know the history of the development of these core competencies, where literally a team of coaches from around the world was working diligently over 3 years to figure out what is the essence of coaching, independent from the cultural background. Because obviously a Chinese coach, a French coach, an American coach, a German coach, there will be different flavors because of our different cultures. So when we take these cultural flavors away and our individual personality styles and things which make us different as coaches, what is the essence? What comes it down? And that for me is, for example, that coaching. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, if you could tell us the 11 core competencies, if you remember them briefly, just what each one is, not the, because I know it's like a paragraph, but just briefly, which one is.
Good test for me as a former mentor coach. I should have them now, like literally rolling down from my tongue, and I can't, because I haven't mentored for quite some time. So, so I can't do the 11 one immediately. They are chunks in groups. What are, for example, is setting the agenda, which I made this example here, that a coach, a properly trained jump in the so-called intervention phase, like working with the client, already moving him into a change without getting a clear contract first. What is it what you want from me? Yeah, is it when you say I'm bullied at work, do you want to learn how to deal with that situation? Do you want your emotions? Do you want to have conflict resolution with that bully? Do you want to talk with HR? So a coach always makes a contract which is based in what the client wants from a change process. That's, for example, the difference to therapy. Therapy is about, and I make it very simple, about healing in a big way. And healing could be emotional, it could be mental. And I don't say that not good coaching has healing effects, but these are then side effects. Coaching in its essence are not focusing on healing, the focus is on change. And the time span where we focus on as a coach is on the future. So we don't invest most of the energy and time of other past situations. So there are certain things where there's always an overlap. I know, for example, neurolinguistic programming. There's timeline with a timeline maybe in the past, and there are different coaching training schools. Solution for the problem. They ignore the problem. There are other coaching schools who would say, "What? You ignore the problem? This is not appreciative and acknowledging enough where the client is. You have to analyze the problem." So one of the core competencies from the ICF is creating a safe space with the client where you pace the client and give them the amount of acknowledgement that person needs for that problem, which in every case can be different. So for me, the biggest thing as a coach, in contrast to other things, is that, and this is now a paradox, that we get paid as a coach to help the client evolve and change himself. So we are not doing the work literally in his life for him. Like a trainer or let's say a consultant who analyzes a situation and goes home on the table and then writes his 300-page essay and brings it back to the client and tells the client, here, now you do X, follow this script, and then leaves. A coach is like a guide, like a Sherpa from A to B throughout the change process and helps the client to discover its own resourcefulness and creates an accountability structure where the client discovers what to do inside out. So a coach is not telling the client what to do. The coach works with creating space, giving feedback, reflection, mirroring, feedback, paraphrasing, and helps the client through powerful questions to raise his or her awareness about the problem and the solution, and then to come up with the own action steps, the own solutions to get there. And that is, with not the exact words from the ICF, a summary of the core competencies I just did in the last 2 minutes, because it follows this process from setting the agenda for the coaching process and so this is now the paradox. We literally pay, the client pays us money to help them do the work, and we step out of the way, which is a training for our own ego. Like an expert, a consultant, they are expected to know. We coaches, we are not supposed to know. As soon
Okay, because I'm going to have you give shorter answers just because it breaks up, and then there's times where we can't hear you because of the Wi-Fi connection, and so I may need to have you repeat certain things. Okay? Did you hear that? Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Because there was a couple times where I was like, oh, we can't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you. But essentially, to summarize, I got that, I like the one of setting an agenda before they start. And then I liked also, but it broke up a little bit, pulling tools into the practice of coaching. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
I didn't hear. What do you want me to talk about? Repeat that, please.
The pulling tools into your practice, because you were talking about something like timeline therapy and other types of therapy that you can pull into coaching. So how does that relate to coaching?
You are sadly breaking up strongly. I couldn't understand. I heard the word therapy. You want to hear more about the distinction between coaching and therapy? I'm not sure what you just said. I'm sorry, my dear.
Oh, no, how to pull tools into coaching and how do they relate to coaching? Because I know that it's not just based on the tools, right?
Oh, tools. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I might disappoint some viewers here of this video when I tell them that tools are less important in coaching than the market likes us to believe, because in the marketplace, there are a lot of people who make money by selling so-called tools to coaches or even selling training in certain tools, etc. Coaching is something where you need literally zero tools. You need to be a good trained coach in things like listening, mirroring, paraphrasing feedback, asking powerful questions, and creating accountability. Bam. Yeah, that's more or less it. Everything else is added stuff. And so the so-called tools or apps, etc., these are now questions around delivery, depending what your target audience is, your ideal clients. My clients are spread around the world, so obviously I need technical tools for communication and make it convenient for my clients. So I use tools, technical tools like Zoom conferences or Skype, and or I use certain apps to manage my business as a coach, for example, scheduling, etc. But for the coaching itself, tools are overrated. And to distinguish from tools, there are things like assessment, which some people call tools as well, but for me they are their own category. So assessments are something very great as a resource for coaches to learn to understand their clients better and to understand what clients need in order to grow and step out of their comfort zone. So assessments I can highly recommend for every coach to look into. Personality typing assessments are out there and to which one they feel drawn and which one would fit their niche in their business and their ideal audience to work with them. Because every assessment has a different flavor and focuses on measuring different things. So that all depends with whom a coach would like to work with.
Okay. I might have to have you log back in because it's breaking up quite a bit. Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay though?
I see myself constantly clearly, so my Wi-Fi connection seems to be good. You are right now clear as well. You froze before, but now you're good.
Okay, because I can like hear the speed that you're talking at in there, and here it comes into bite-sized pieces. Okay, I think we should be good. Okay, so what are you most excited about for the conference?
I'm most excited regarding the conference, really for the participants, for the audience, what they will experience and get. Because I know your concept quite deeply, and I know it will be a new kind of conference. It will be a paradigmatic shift in conference. What do I mean with that? Especially here in Southern California, we coaches are a bit burned out by so-called multi-pitching, multi-speaker conferences, where the focus from the host organization of the conference is often, sadly, on making money from the participants by selling from stage. So what I love about your conference is the conscious coach conference, that you are literally, what I understand, and please correct me, you are delivering in these 3 days a business training in a conference box, where the coaches, the participants, get everything they need to create a sustainable business as sustainable human beings. I love your context and framework of sustainability, because we know the sad numbers on the market. Most coaches who start a coaching business, they go out of business. Sadly, a lot go out even after or at the end of the first year because it didn't work out. And after 5 years, most coaches are not any longer in business. So according to the last numbers I have, every second coach makes less than $50,000 revenue a year. And from those, 50% are less than $10,000 revenue a year. So that is a hobby, but that is not a business. No family could live if their father or mother has as a revenue $10,000 a year revenue. So for coaches to create a sustainable business without burning out themselves, I believe they need your conference, because you deliver with phenomenal speakers, content and training and teaching from stage and in the workshops, so that coaches understand, for example, in the areas of marketing, sales, positioning, etc., what they have to learn and put into place in order to be successful. And that makes me super excited, because I love coaching, I love coaches, and I believe the world has not yet enough successful coaches. The world is still in pain. There's still so many people who can't reach their goals alone. So we need successful coaches in order to lower the emotional pain in this world and to make more people more successful. And I believe your conference, from the concept I saw, from the tracks you have, and the quality, the high quality of your speakers, with zero pitching, yay! This, yeah, it will be amazing. I'm so happy about your conference and truly excited and honored to be part of it.
Awesome. I'm waiting for it to catch up with you because there was a little bit of lag. Yes. And so what are you, and in shorter, just like a sentence and then a pause and a sentence and a pause, because sometimes you'll be talking and then it will catch up with you and then I see you doing something else. What are you focusing on in delivering your workshop? So you have a workshop that's going to be in the self-development and mindset track, and it's about women's empowerment. So tell us a little bit about your title and what you're going to focus on and break down for us in your workshop.
Yes, so my title, it's about, I want to close in the corporate world we would call it the salary gap. So I'm focusing on the mindset around money and pricing in the framework of neuroscience. Most coaches, and especially female coaches, sell their coaching packages and programs way too low, way too low. And that's one major reason why they are not sustainable as business owners.
That's great. That's great.
So the workshop will guide them through a mindset shift, a paradigm shift. And I don't want to give away now the nuggets. I will guide them on an exploration where they realize from which archetype they are building their business and how that archetype is sabotaging their pricing and their sales. And then I will introduce them to a different archetype which will help them to create that sustainable coaching business of their dreams. And I will lead them physically through a process where they literally embody the new archetype, and I will help them on the spot in the workshop to work on the coaching packages and programs they currently have and raise the prices to a level which feels completely in alignment with their integrity, their values, and the clients, the markets they are in. So when these three things come together, their sense of integrity, values, and the market they are selling to, when these get into alignment, then selling higher price packages becomes an easy breeze for them.
That's great. And especially because I know that so many people at different types of ways in their career struggle with pricing, right? And as an entrepreneur, that's the thing that people struggle with most of all. And so realizing that that's also still translating to a gap for women versus men is really important. So I'm excited about that workshop.
Thank you, Megan.
Did you want to add any things that you're adding to the conference?
I want people to know that you are highly creative and that the whole concept of sustainability will something they will experience while they are at the conference. Without giving away the details, I believe that the whole conference from an experience perspective, I mean, I'll be there as a presenter, but I will also be there as a participant. I believe that a lot of conferences leave us exhausted and leave the main work into our hands as participants after the conference. So we leave bombarded and filled with all this input, but then the real work starts afterwards. I believe your conference is in another way different from most conferences because we do the work while we are at the conference together. So the transformation or the learning or the designing of something, like in my workshop case, the price setting, I don't send them home and then they do the pricing alone at home. No, they will create the new prices while they are there at the conference in my workshop. And I think that is a key, that your conference is experiential and the implementation happens right there, because that is the biggest weakness of most other conferences and participants, that we leave conferences being hyped up, and then it's, from hyped up to frustration, crash is often the process after conferences. And I'm full of trust that here we are not getting hyped up, we are getting empowered, and that is a state we will leave and go out of the conference and owning the empowerment and the transformation. So it's as a conference, it's a sustainable conference. And that is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Awesome. That's music to my ears. For those who have not caught on, I am actually the host and the founder of the conference, and that was something that I was very strict about when talking to all of the speakers, that it needs to be a workshop. And for it to be a workshop, it has to have a worksheet, and they need to do some work during the session. So I love that you highlighted that, because at the conference, we will make you work. But it's so you don't have to go home and have that feeling of overwhelm and, aloneness and loneliness that we face as entrepreneurs and coaches. So you'll get most of it done there, and then it's just minimal implementation steps that you will be guided through as well. So that's exciting. Yay. You were a little paused. Yeah, great. And so if anyone has any questions about women's empowerment or any other type of, whether it's the diversification of coaching versus consulting versus teaching, please, you can drop it below. We will be on here for a couple more minutes taking any questions that you may have. I can't see the time on this. Oh no, you froze. Anything, if it freezes again,
Am I allowed to invite people into my new Facebook group?
Yeah. Oh, it froze.
Awesome. So those of you who are interested in personal empowerment as a woman and getting free training from me on a weekly basis and meeting other luminaries from around the world who believe that the patriarchy is in its dying phase and believe that the next phase of humanity's evolution is true partnership between men and women. If these topics inspire you, interest you, and you want to network and make friends with women from around the world, I invite you to my new Facebook group. It's free. It's called Women Rising Global Hub for Luminaries Designing Futures. You don't need to remember this long name. You just can go here above on this page into the first Facebook search box, put in Women Rising Global Hub, and that brings you to the correct group. There are other companies and other organizations with the name Women Rising, so it needs to be Women Rising Global Hub. And if you have any questions or you don't find it, you can always ask that below here the video, and I will also post a direct link to the Facebook group under this video as well when we are done here.
Awesome. We will drop the Facebook link in comments. And then, do you happen to have in your office, so Sylvia has written a book, and as we've mentioned with some of the other speakers that we've interviewed, we will be giving away books, so you need to pay attention to the AMAs and our Instagram giveaways. And she will also be on site signing books. Do you happen to have your book in your office near you?
Yes, yes. For success.
Oh. Yes. Can you say the name again?
Instant Insights on 12 Leadership Powers for Successful Women. It's literally the compiled feedback, golden nuggets from my corporate clients from the very first 18 years of my global work. And I compiled their feedback, what they took out of the coaching, what they implemented, clustered it, and out of these clusters, the 12 leadership powers emerged. Everyone on the conference will get the physical book. And if you can't wait, you can also listen to my podcast, where once a month I read one of the chapters of the book. And you find my podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Put in my name, Sylvia Becker-Hill, or the name Women's Empowerment School Podcast. And the podcast art with the orange cover of the book are the episodes of the chapters read by me with some fun exercises where we sing together and yell and whisper and sometimes yodel together.
Awesome. And so we'll put the link to that book as well, but those who are attending the conference will potentially get a copy. So anything else you want to add before we sign off? Any more questions for anyone about women's empowerment or just general coaching questions? Sylvia is amazing. I've done a session with her before, transformative. Anything that you would like to add, Sylvia?
The concept of that we are all rising together, not only as women, but also as coaches. The concept that the market is saturated or overfull or we are in competition is an unhealthy mindset. The market is only saturated in the moment from a marketing perspective, but not from a coach perspective. We still don't have enough coaches, enough professionally powerful trained coaches on the world to help people grow and change and create the solutions they need. We don't. So there is still enough space for everyone who wants to be a coach. And yes, the marketing situation, especially here in California, is a challenge. This is one reason why you have to come to the conference, because the conference will empower you to be more clear in your positioning and how to market yourself so that you reach the right people who are waiting for you to help them to transform, grow, and change. So please, everyone, don't believe that the market coaching is oversaturated. The marketing is saturated, not the market for coaching.
Okay, I got half of that. Yes, and then also with the conference itself, it's about, like, I heard a little bit of community being mentioned there and standing together, and so it's building off of a community of coaches so you guys can support each other, because being an entrepreneur is so lonely. I go through that many times. I'm sure, Sylvia, you can relate. So it's really about finding your tribe, finding your community, and bringing amazing people together to really the world.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for being online. Again, this was Sylvia Becker-Hill. Tune in also next Tuesday. We will have Lisa Kelly, and she is one of our business track people. We will put all of the links below for the conference. Tickets sales are early bird ends June 30th, so make sure you sign on for that. And then if you have any additional questions, we will have Sylvia check again later this week. If you have any questions for her about women's empowerment or coaching, she will be more than happy to answer. And we'll also put her Facebook group link in the comments as well. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day and weekend. Thank you, Sylvia.
Bye.